Hello, weekly vlog. How we doing? It's already Wednesday, somehow. Didn't mean for that to happen. I've had a busy week though. I don't know if you can see him back there. I've got Tony over there. He's having a rough day, or maybe it's a great day, depending on your perspective. He is violently high right now. He had his monthly vet visit for his arthritis medication. So in terms of pain meds today, Tony today has gotten gabapentin, which is a mild sedative, which I give him on the way to the vet. That way he doesn't freak out in the car. He got Silencia, which is for arthritis at the vet. And then at home, I gave him his dose of Cartrophin every 2 weeks, which is also for arthritis. And then today we're also starting him on his very first dose of ketamine, which is funny to say. It's also to help with arthritis pain. It's a very, very mild dose, so it's not actually going to make him feel high. It's just really funny to say that I went to the vet and came home with ketamine. So that was interesting. But yeah, he is super out of it today. So I've just kind of been chilling with Tony on the couch and kind of puttering around the house, not doing a whole lot today. I don't even know what time it is. Somehow past 5. No idea how that happened, but here we are. I am making some homemade veggie broth right now to batch prep some different kinds of soups to have in the freezer. I'm also planning on going out and walking a little hiking trail today. The new place that I moved to just a few weeks ago, we are surrounded by hiking trails, and I've yet to have the time to actually go and explore any of them. Plus the weather has been garbage, but it's beautiful out today, so I do want to get out while there's still some sunshine. I took a lens out from work. I work at a camera store, if you didn't know that, and staff are allowed to take out lenses to borrow for a night or two. I grabbed the Sigma 100 to 400 full frame lens to put on my Sony A7 IV. This is a huge lens. Like, this is the size comparison of what I usually use compared to what this lens will be on my camera. It's massive, but it's actually very lightweight, which is nice. And then it also telephotos out, which is really fun. So yeah, I'm hoping shortly, once I finish making my broth, I'm gonna go out and hopefully try and photograph some birds in the area. This will be my second ever attempt with bird photography, and I'm not confident in my skills, but I'm gonna give it a shot at least. And at the very least, just enjoy a nice walk in nature. That'll be lovely regardless. Other than that, I don't think I've done much else this week aside from like a bunch of chores and, you know, just normal, boring, everyday stuff. I have done some good reading though. Do I have my books? I forgot the book. 1 second. Okay, I grabbed it. Also, just a note as well, I had a whole bunch of footage from Monday when I was in Toronto. On Sunday, I went to a concert, spent the night in the city. But just for the sake of continuity in the vlogs, I put all of my Monday Toronto footage into last week's vlog. I just felt like it made more sense than putting it in here and just be like randomly in Toronto with no context for why I was there. Doesn't actually matter. Anyways, so far this week I have finished 2 things and I'm currently in the middle of 1. So first up is Horsefly by the author whose name I still have yet to look up how to pronounce. I'll figure it out eventually. I gave this one a 2.5 star. It was fine. I think there were parts of it that were really good and parts of it that were super boring. So this book is translated from French. It's a French-Canadian novel, novella, whatever. It's very short. And it's about biochemically engineered horseflies that are used as warfare. So there are 3 different POVs in this book. One of them is a man in the 1940s who is part of the team of scientists who are trying to figure out how to use these horseflies as weapons of mass destruction in World War II. We are reading his journal entries from that time period. The modern day POV is the grandson of one of the characters from the 1940s POV as he is kind of being hunted by these horseflies. And then the third POV is the horsefly that is hunting this person, which is by far the most interesting part of this book. The chapters with the horsefly were excellent. They were weirdly sensual and really fucking weird and unsettling, and it was exactly what I wanted with this book. There was almost a sexual nature to how this horsefly was viewing the person as its prey in a way that was really uncomfortable. It was so perfectly what I thought this whole book was going to be, but that ended up only being maybe a quarter of the book because the horseflies chapters were super short. They were like maybe a page and a half, whereas the other 2 POVs, their chapters would be like 5 to 10 pages each. And those 2 POVs were a lot more boring, especially the 1940s POV. It was very dry and clinical and just very scientific, which made sense because it is a scientist, but it was just super uninteresting, unfortunately. And the main character in the modern day POV was also kind of a boring dude. So not a lot of this book was interesting, but the parts that were interesting were fantastic. So it was kind of a hard book to rate, but I settled on a 2.5 star for that one. And then I also finished The Body by Bethany Morrow over audio just earlier today, actually. This one is very lightly a supernatural horror novel, and it was also just okay. I think I'm gonna settle on giving it probably also a 2.5 star, maybe a 3. I haven't put it in the crowd pile yet, but I'll do that later on. This had potential. I think the unsettling atmosphere was very well done. I think there are parts of it that were really good, but ultimately this book fell really flat for me. A lot of it was just marital issues and adultery and that kind of thing, and a lot of religious nonsense that I just personally didn't care about. Maybe I should have read more into the synopsis first, but I've read books from this author before and I wanted to keep trying them to try and find one from them that I think would do really well for me, and I thought this was going to be the one, but it sadly was not. It wasn't like a bad book, and I could possibly see why somebody else might like it, but it just so was not the book for me, and I'm really sad about that. I want to like this author so bad. I like her ideas, but I never liked the execution. I read Mem from her recently, and it was the same thing where it had such a great concept and a fantastic setup, but the actual plot of it fell flat, and that was kind of the same thing with this one. I honestly might not give this author another shot. I think I'm probably done with her now. I've read 3 of her books, and all of them have just been okay, so maybe she's just not the author for me, and that is okay. Moving on from there, where's my Kindle? I'm sitting on it. Thing that I'm currently in the middle of, I am reading Daggermouth by HM Wolfe, and oh my goodness, the dogs upstairs are having a time. I'm on chapter 10 right now, which is 18% of the way through. This is fantastic. Everybody is right. This is an amazing book. People are obsessed with this book right now, and I totally get the hype. It's set in a very gritty, dark, dystopian world in the city that is sectioned off by rings, and you are not allowed to have any kind of interaction with people in different rings. It is punishable by death to fall in love outside of your faction, I guess that's the right word. There are 2 POVs in this book. The one is the heir to this empire. His father is the one who sets all the laws and does all the oppressing of all the people. He's horrible. And this main character is also the one who does all of the public executions of rebels and people who break the law. And the other main character is one of these rebels who was given a job to go and kill this main character. But given that it's a romance, they are of course at some point going to fall in love. Currently have no idea how that's going to happen, but we'll see what happens from there. I'm looking forward to finding out, because right now they have met where I'm at, but they do not like each other. So we'll see how things go from there. I think this book is going to be a wild ride. This one right now is on Kindle Unlimited, and there's no audiobook for it just yet. It's currently being traditionally published, I think sometime soon, but there's no audiobook for it yet. So this is just being read with my eyeballs, which I am not great at. I'm a very slow reader when I don't have the audiobook present, but that is okay. It's fine to just take my time with a book once in a while. So I'm going to slowly make my way through that one over the next little while, probably another week or 2 of that one. It's very long, it's like 600 pages, so I'll be at this one for quite a while, but that's fine. Other than that, what is next? I have to pick up a new audiobook probably sometime tonight, and I think I just had one become available on Libby. I have 2 actually. So right now I have out Rules for Ghosting by Shelly J. Shore, which I definitely knew what it was about when I borrowed it, but I forget right now. I'm assuming it's a contemporary paranormal romance. Oh, and it's queer. I love that. It says, to save his family's failing funeral home and his own chance at a queer love story, a reluctant clairvoyant must embrace the gift he long ignored in this poignant and tender debut. That sounds adorable. I'm very much in the mood for light and easy romances right now, and I love me a good queer love story at any time. So that one will probably be next, and then the one that just arrived is This Cursed House by Del Sandine, I think is how you say the name. And this one says, in this Southern Gothic horror debut, a young Black woman abandons her life in 1960s Chicago for a position with a mysterious family in New Orleans, only to discover the truth. They're under a curse, and they think she can break it. That also sounds great. After the letdown of a horror novel that was Horsefly, I hope this one scratches the itch. I've been really in the mood to be really freaked out in a horror novel, so fingers crossed this one will do that. I think I'll probably do Rules for Ghosting first, because that one's due back at Libby sooner, and then after that one I'll do This Cursed House. But those are the plans for right now. I've been yapping for 15 minutes. I need to shut up. My veggie broth is probably ready, so I'm gonna grab that and then go out on a little adventure. Wish me luck in trying to get some good photographs of birds. If I get any good ones, I will post them in the vlog as well, so you can see. you're having a great week. I have had a busy week. Not really, sort of. It's been busy at work, but my evenings have been chill. But I'm so burnt out from work that I have not done a whole lot outside of work. So I did go to the gym yesterday, so that was very nice. I did my back and chest, and I am feeling it today. I am quite sore, but that's all right. I worked a long shift today as well. Somebody called in sick, so I stayed until close. And yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I have a couple of reading updates. So first of all, with Daggermouth, I am now 27% of the way through, very slowly making my way through this book, but what I am reading I'm having a really good time with. I think I'm enjoying it a little bit less than I was at the very beginning of it, now that the two main characters are engaging a bit more. I do like their banter because they hate each other so much. I'm just honestly not really looking forward to it becoming a romance. I kind of just want them to hate each other. I like the romance that the main character has with the guy at the very beginning. I think he's a sweetheart. If you were to compare this to The Hunger Games, I was very much Team Peeta, which would be the other main character in this book, but the guy that she's with in the very beginning is more like Gale, and I am fully Team Gale in this scenario at least. But otherwise, this world is fantastic. I love how gritty it is. I love how dark it is. I think it's really interesting. I'm very interested by the politics of the side characters, especially the male main character's dad. He is pure fucking evil and I hate him, and I want to know more about him because he's so interesting. But yeah, so far so good with that one. And then I have an audiobook that I've had on the go for the last couple of days that I am obsessed with, which is Rules for Ghosting by Shelly J. Shore. This one is a contemporary paranormal romance about a trans Jewish man whose parents own a funeral home, which is unfortunate for him because he can see ghosts. So when he gets older, he becomes a doula just to get as far away from death as he possibly can and just go right to the opposite end. But when some family drama occurs, he ends up stepping up to help out his family for a little while, which definitely has nothing to do with the very cute man who also happens to work there, and things go from there. This is delightful in so many ways. I have been completely obsessed with it. This book has made me sob multiple times. It's beautiful. Given the premise of the book, there are of course lots of heavy topics in this one, a lot of death of course, but it's given such a wonderful look at Jewish death practices, which I didn't really know much about, but it talks a lot about how they handle death and how they treat the bodies and all of the beautiful rituals that they have after death. It's just been such a wonderful story to listen to. The two parts that made me cry so hard, there was a funeral for a trans woman that was just so beautifully handled. I keep saying beautiful, but that's just the perfect word for this story, but it was handled in such a way that just brought me to tears so fast. And the other part was a trans man giving birth and how the main character helped him through that. This book is just a celebration of what it is to be trans, and especially the trans community. I'm just completely in love with this book and everything that it has to say. I think it's so wonderful and highly underrated. I don't think it has that many reviews. Yeah, this came out in 2024, and at least on Storycraft, it only has a little bit over 2,000 reviews on there. This book definitely needs more hype around it. I cannot believe how good this book is. It's wonderful. Given how much it's made me cry and the emotional connection that I've had to it, it's probably gonna get 5 stars. I can't really see it getting less than that. We'll see how the ending goes. I think right now I'm like 65% of the way through. Yeah, about that. So I'll probably finish it up tomorrow most likely. And fingers crossed it'll stick the landing and get the 5 stars that I'm hoping for. But yeah, those are the reading updates for the time being. I have a pretty busy weekend ahead of me. Tomorrow after work, my roommate and I are going back to our old house for the very last time just to grab the last couple things that we have, as well as drop off our old keys. And then on Sunday after work, my best friend is coming to visit me. We're going out for dinner. I'm not really sure where yet, but I am so excited to see her. I haven't seen her since I think November, so not too sure how much time I'll have for reading for the rest of the weekend, but I will at least finish the audiobook and probably start my next one, and then Daggermouth will just continue kind of slowly in the background whenever I have time to pick up an ebook. But that'll do it for right now, so we will chat in a little bit. Hello, happy Monday everybody. It's time to wrap up the weekly vlog. I'm just editing this vlog right now and I've realized that I've worn this same sweater in every single clip that I've spoken in so far. So, whoopsies. In my defense, my house is very cold. I live in a basement now and it's chilly in here and I don't own that many sweaters, so You'll be seeing this a lot. I think the last time that I updated was Friday, maybe Saturday? No, it was Friday. Yeah, because on Saturday we went and dropped off our keys at the old place, which was very sad, and I shed a little bit of a tear, I'm not gonna lie. I mostly hated that house because the landlords were so terrible, the house was falling apart, but it was also my home for like 5 years, and I hate change, so I was sad to officially say goodbye, but also relieved that I never had to talk to those landlords ever again. And then on Sunday, my best friend came for a visit, and we went to this Italian restaurant. We just got a few things and kind of shared everything. We basically just got 3 different types of bread and cheese, and it was excellent. We got a margarita pizza, we got a avocado bruschetta, and then a ball of their house-made fresh mozzarella and some focaccia. It was delicious. Oh man, that was a great meal. But yeah, it was a great time. We had lots of fun just catching up and hanging out, talking about books and video games. It was much needed bestie time. In terms of reading, I did finish Rules for Ghosting, and I loved it. It did in fact stick the landing. It got a full 5 stars from me. The ending had me crying as well, so I love that. I love books about grief, and this one did such a fantastic job. I think I was saying in the last clip that it was really interesting learning more about Jewish death practices, and especially from a trans perspective. It was absolutely stunning, and I had a fantastic time with this book. Highly recommend it if you're in the mood for a very cute, queer, paranormal romance that deals in some heavier topics. And then with Daggermouth, I've made a little bit of progress, not a whole lot, but at least something. I'm currently 43% of the way through, which I think is a little bit farther than I was the last time that we spoke. I just did the editing for this. Like, I literally just heard myself talking about where I was on my last update, and I already forget. Either way, having a good time. I just don't think that I have anything else to add to it right now in terms of thoughts. My thoughts are more or less the same as what they were in the last update. I do think in terms of the writing, I was liking the writing a lot in the beginning of it, but now that I'm farther into it, it's a little bit overwritten. I think the author could have done well with a more thorough editor, perhaps. It's very dramatic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is kind of a lot. I am still quite enjoying it, and I'll definitely continue, but it's not as good as it was in the first like 15 to 20% of it, but I'm still having a good time, so it's fine. But I'm hoping to finish that one up sometime in the next week, hopefully, coming up to the end of the month. And I, for whatever reason, really hate carrying over books from one month to the next, even though it literally does not matter, but it just makes my heart happy to have everything finished before the end of the month. But yeah, those are the updates. That's the end of the week, so thank you as always for coming along. I hope you had a great week. Let me know what you read this week down in the comments below. I would love to hear all about it. But in the meantime, thanks a bunch for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.